course, of course. The dialectic behavior therapy. I certainly do prefer the electric shock therapy over any therapies. Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, the electric shock therapy always seems to get the job done. It just kind of cures all the wickedness. Oh, hello everybody. Hello everybody. You've caught me in between one of my sessions. Friends, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Edmund Fitzpatrick Excalibur, friends, and y'all could just call me Dr. Excalibur for short. Friends, I specialize in domestic violence with children for combat soldiers. And I'm highly trained, everybody. Friends, did you hear what I told you? My name is Dr. Excalibur, and I'm master level trained. Friends, I'm just going over some notes. I have a new client. We met with a new client yesterday. Friends, I'm not supposed to talk about my clients due to HIPAA laws, but the Tampa VA don't care about no HIPAA laws. They're in his records. Look, friends. Shh. Friends, Sergeant Major Grizzlegrit is one of my clients. I can't believe my fortunes, everybody. I'm a highly trained mental health professional. And I got the, Well, Sergeant Major Grizzlegrit is going through a doozy right now, everybody. He's got a lunatic of a wife, and the lady, friends, we need to get into it. Now, friends, if you find yourself, you have to be a combat soldier, and you have to be a man. You can't be a girly man. If you're a girly man, then I'd recommend you go to that perverted goddamn and die, the Triangle Resolutions. What a perverted abomination of mental health counseling. You should be ashamed of yourself. Watching Jimmy Kimmel makes me disgusted. I'm sorry, friends. I am a highly trained mental health professional. And again, friends, my name is Dr. Fitzpatrick. Edmund Fitzpatrick Excalibur, friends. And y'all can call me Dr. Excalibur for short. Friends, we had our first counseling session with the Sergeant Major, Mr. Sergeant Major, yesterday, friends. And I told you, the Sergeant Major's going through a lot of struggles, friends, a lot of struggles. So, friends, we just wanted to bounce on here and offer our services to y'all. Friends, if you have a Ring camera or you have some evidence, friends, we won't even charge for our services. Now, friends, we know the 13th Judicial Court, well, they're one-sided, everybody. And if you don't have video evidence, they will never believe the man. They will give the lady, the lunatic women, all the power, friends, all the power. And friends, that's exactly what's going on right now in Mr. Sergeant Major's little story. We feel so horrible for him, friends. The Sergeant Major has 3 beautiful little children that are being used as pawns by a lunatic woman. I mean, this lady's certified lunatic. Friends, I told you. Oh, wait a minute. Well, hold on, friends. I didn't tell y'all. Oh, friends, that's my ankle bracelet. That's right. I had a crazy lady, too, come after Dr. Excalibur. And she was successful to get a third fake lie-filled expert eye on your humble doctor. But when I went in there, friends, I did it like a champ. Now, I didn't trick nobody. We're not supposed to trick people in mental health, friends. We're not supposed to lie, like Mr. Sergeant Major's horrible wife. But, friends, when I had to go through the expertise, I had a lot of fun, and I did. I used my mental health skills, and well, friends, I tricked some of the staff. I told them I was one of the doctors, and I was walking around with my little glasses like this, and I told them I was incognito. But that is a true story, everybody. The lady did. But that's Dr. Excalibur's. I'm not supposed to tell you these things, friends. I must keep my boundaries with y'all. I am a mental health professional. And, friends, if you find yourself, you got to be a combat soldier. Friends, if you need our services, we will offer them to you for free. We just love, friends. There's nothing more pleasurable than exposing lie-filled women that are just full of evil. So look, friends, if you would like to call, go ahead and call, friends. Here's our work number right here. Friends, here's our work number. You call the work number. And you call the work number, everybody.
I will call the sheriff.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, friends. Where's this video we're watching here? Oh, my goodness, friends. Oh, my goodness, friends. Friends, oh, my goodness. I wasn't supposed to show you that. Friends, oh, my goodness, friends. What is going on here? Friends, this is profound.
I will call the sheriff.
Friends, this is domestic violence with children. Oh, my goodness, friends. Where did this video come from? Is that Mr. Sergeant Major? It's horrible. This is so horrible, everybody. Look at this. Oh, my goodness, friends. That is domestic violence. Oh, my goodness, friends.
Go ahead and call the jail for standing in front of my call them.
Friends, I did not mean for y'all to see that. This is part of my work that I'm doing.
Where are my keys? Where are
But
my
friends,
keys?
if you're a victim of domestic violence, please call our hotline, friends.
Where are my keys?
Oh my goodness, this lady sounds like she needs electric shock therapy. Oh, these poor children. Oh, the poor children. So sad, friends, when a lady loses her mind and they want to go loony on a good, honorable Christian man, and then they want to stand in front of the vehicle with the children. Look at all these children, friends. It's so sad. Look at this lunatic woman. Now she's standing. Oh my goodness, friends. This lady is preventing this Mr. Sergeant Grizzlegrits from leaving. He's trying to flee. Oh, the poor children. Oh, the children. It's all for the children, Judge Peroni. It's all for the children. But friends, please call Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits. No, call Dr. If you call Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits, he can get you in touch with me, friends. I'm Dr. Fitzpatrick. Isn't that horrible, everybody? Let's see what else is on this nice video. Oh no, friends. Oh, friends, this is so sad. Friends, that's my client. That's Mr. Sergeant Grizzlegrits, and he's just trying to get this lady help, but she don't want help because I told you. Friends, I got the book right over here, friends. Friends, this is my post-traumatic stress book. So, friends, when you call the sheriff on someone, that's domestic violence. That's threat of coercion. That is trying to get compliance out of somebody, and that is not a. Well, friends, it's against the law. So, friends, again, call my number. Corporal Steven, how in the hell is this video still rolling? Friends, I'm not supposed to show you these videos because this is per HIPAA and my client, Mr. Sergeant Major. Oh my Lord Jesus, is this lady about to assault this man?
My husband last year, he tried to march with Acme, which was thrown out with prejudice. No,
It's horrible. I told you, friends. We need to get help with our trauma. We can't let trauma linger, because then these type of things happen. Friends, I told you I'm highly trained in the mental health field. And my new client, Mr. Sergeant Major, he's struggling, friends. He's struggling really bad because he is a good honorable man. And he overcame a lot of adversities in his life. He overcame war. Friend, Sergeant Major, I got his PGK book right here, friends.
No, you don't know who these people are.
Oh no.
Stop it. You got to stop this. Or where are children?
No one is going to get killed. They're going to be fine. You're paranoid. Let's go.
This lady's saying that
you're not
Sergeant Major's
going.
paranoid.
Yes,
Y'all
we
not-
are.
You go take a hot shower.
No, this is freaking ridiculous.
Now
You
she's
are
cursing
not
in front
gonna
of the
do this,
Oh my goodness,
Robin.
friends.
Ronnie.
You stop it right now. You're throwing your phone and you're losing your mind.
I can't watch any longer. The lady threw her phone in front of the children. She threw it at Mr. Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits, friends. He just had a little concerns about her running down to the YMCA to take a shower when nobody would be watching the children, friends. I told you. Look, friends, I've told you too much about my client, but Mr. Sergeant Major, we need y'all to say some prayers for this man. He's got court in a couple weeks. And this lady thinks she's going to run in the courts, and the courts are going to believe her. But Mr. Sergeant Major has something this lady don't have. Well, he has lots of things this lady don't have. Number one, he's got truth on his side. Mr. Sergeant Major don't tell a lie, friends. He don't tell a lie. He was very truthful in our counseling yesterday, everybody. Hold on, friends. I got to make sure the sheriff ain't out here. Friends, you got to understand something. I already know what happened here because I'm a mental health counselor for the last time. I'm Dr. Edmund Fitzpatrick Excalibur for the last time. Friends, I'm world renowned. Just not in the perverted VA, because I told you they're all LGBT and they're all diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's why. Perverted. They just want to sex up all the soldiers and make them transgender soldiers. But there ain't no such thing as a transgender soldier, because a transgender soldier don't get to go down range, so you're not a soldier. You're a perverted demon that hangs around the little spa, the little resort over there somewhere in Dallas, Texas. Friends, I can't stand this evil. Friends, I'm sorry. Friends, you're humble, Dr. Excalibur. Well, friends, I had my own trauma too. I told you, I got an ankle bracelet on my ankle because of a lunatic woman. And a even more loonier mother-in-law. I told you, these women, there's a curse, friends. It's a family curse. Now, friends, I have the cure for that curse. It's right here, friends. It's not a DSM-5. Friends, it isn't even... Well, friends, I'm very thorough with my electric shock therapy. Just let me get my hands on you. Let me get my hands on you, and I'll just put them on your little ears. I'll just snip. And then I'll have Corporal Stevens just crank the truck up, the grizzly truck, friends, and I'll hook my Blue Eddy. I got a couple extra batteries I found in the cemeteries, friends. Don't ask me why I found some batteries in the cemeteries. And I'll get all that evil just blown out of you. I'm sorry, friends. I'm gonna put these down over yonder for a sheriff that really does come find me, friends. Friends, I got the cure for all your mental illness and all your ailments, and especially with this horrible family, friends. I mean, this family's horrible. With the exception of the one gentleman that's watching now. I love you, friend. I know you understand what's going on. Friends, this right here is the cure for all the evil. In the video that we watched, friends, if that lady that was preventing that nice, honorable Christian man and putting her hand on the vehicle and saying, if I can't leave, you can't leave. That's domestic violence with children, friends. I got the lady doing that in front of the children. That lady is projecting all day long. The lady she ran to the courts and lied on herself. She wrote the wrong name in there. Should have been her name, not my name. Friends, I know some of y'all know what this is. Friends, listen, in the VA and mental health, we're not even allowed to look at this. Because they know how powerful friends, it's the Holy Bible. I'm sorry it's backwards, but it's the only way I can do it, friends. Friends, in the mental health field, they don't ever teach us about Jesus. And they don't ever teach us about the healing powers of the Holy Spirit. Oh, no, everybody. It's all about empirically based evidence, which is a bunch of nonsense. Friends, when I had to work, and I did, friends, your humble doctor, I'm Dr. Excalibur, everybody. I was a peer support specialist for many years at the Tampa VA. Oh, friends, I got to go. I got brunch in a little while. Friends, we were not even allowed to talk about Jesus in the workplace. Can you believe that? It's so sad, friends. Friends, Mr. Sergeant Major, well, he was illegally removed out of his job because he was a Christian man. In fact, his lawsuit's all real, everybody, and I know a lot of y'all know that now. It'll be done sometime in the coming months, friends, and Mr. Sergeant Major is going to use that $300,000 to restart his life with his 3 beautiful children. Because, friends, when I did my report last night, friends, and I sent it to the Judge Peroni, the Honorable Judge Peroni, and I got to tell you, friends, that lady ain't that bad looking. But, friends, I told you. Well, friends, we're going to demand 100% custody for Mr. Sergeant Major. That's right, everybody. We're going to demand that this lunatic lady go to an inpatient facility for at least 45 days to get all the trauma. And friends, hold on very clearly here. I demand that lady get electroshock therapy. I mean, at this point, we got to give it to her. There's just no other choice. I'm sorry, friends. We tried everything. Back over there for sheriff really does come over, friends. This ain't no threat, so we gotta eat the skit. But friends, I'm a highly trained doctor in psychology and mental health, friends, and trauma and all the other stuff, friends, even substance abuse. But friends, the Bible will cure it all, friends. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. I got a family member on here, on that side of the family. I'm not allowed to talk about none of these folks no longer. But that man exactly knows what I'm talking about, because that Holy Spirit got a hold of him. Just like the Holy Spirit got a hold of Mr. Sergeant Major. And me too, friends. I mean, I got my own story. Maybe someday I'll share you my story. Because, friends, I told you I used to have to work in the horrible Department of Veteran Affairs. And I too had a horrible story with the perverted people. Look, friends, this is Sergeant Major when he was on a second combat tour. Friends, this was actually this was 7 months after Uncle David was killed. No, friends, that means my video's done. That means I'm going to upload my video. Friends, I told you I shouldn't be doing these things. But you're going to see the video here, friends. You have to. You must at this point, friends. I ain't going to lose all my children because this lunatic wants to keep playing games. We're just a little smarter than y'all. I'm sorry, friends. It's Dr. Excalibur again. Look, friends, this is Mr. Sergeant Major. This was on the 4th of July in 2010. Friends, I told you, this was only a couple months after Uncle David was killed in the war. And this was literally right down the road from where he was killed. Look at Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits. He was giving his life back to Jesus. He got baptized in the war, everybody. And then he came up, washed in the blood of Christ. That's Chaplain Hokimon. I know he's a little chubby, but the chaplains, they don't really have to do all the things. Come on, friends, he's a chaplain. Give the man a little mercy. At least he had his haircut within the standards. Now, friends, evil is real, everybody. And when we make a choice to get righteous and follow Jesus, well, friends, those around us are going to get left behind. I mean, it's evident, friends. Look, friends, Sergeant Major wanted to take his horrible wife to some church groups, but we just never... Excuse me, friends, I'm not Sergeant Major. I'm Dr. Excalibur. Edmund Fitzpatrick Excalibur III, everybody. I told you, I come from a long line of mental health treatment facilities and my whole lineage. Friends, did you know Edmund Fitzpatrick Sr. was the individual that invented the electric shock therapy? He did, friends. It was the year 1903. It was just right when electricity started coming online. And he had a lunatic of a wife, too. They just, well, friends, they didn't have the courts like they do now. But the lady was a lunatic, friends. So one night, he put a little... Well, friends, I can't tell you what he did, but he got the lady in a nice slumber. And then he walked in the bedroom. He didn't quite have jumper cables, friends. Friends, I can't tell you how I know these things. These are family stories passed down from the Excalibur. Friends, in our congressional library, we're going to have it all in there. But friends, you must get righteous. That's why, friends, hold on now. Friends, it was my idea to have Mr. Sergeant Major go clean up all these cemeteries. Friends, you know when you're out in a cemetery, there ain't no evil people pointing the finger at you. There ain't nobody judging you. It's just you, a bunch of holes in it. Friends, there ain't no people. Friends, when you die, you don't get to linger around the cemetery. Ooh. Friends, that ain't how it works. Friends, you either get to spend eternity with Jesus and the rest of us fine folks, like my good uncle on here. And well, they're not my children, friends. They're Sergeant Major's children. Look at Sergeant Major's beautiful children. And Sergeant Major has separation from his children right now, and there's no godly people in that home. Friends, what the lady don't realize is, when Sergeant Major was doing his call with the children last night, it was a three-way call, friends, and I was on it too, and I witnessed everything, friends. It was horrible. This lady's buying cell phones for the children so they can look at all the LGBT on their own. Friends, there's no function in that house. It's all dysfunction. But friends, we figured out what the lady's little scheme was. It's all true. It's all true. Friends, the lady has a lot of resentment for Mr. Sergeant Major. Because Sergeant Major's a busy guy. And when Sergeant Major was working the job at the VA, he was gone he didn't get home to 8 o'clock at night some nights because he was working. So a lot of the stress of the children fell on the lady, the lunatic lady. She wasn't always a lunatic, friends. But I told you, when you don't get your trauma squared away, it just don't go away. You can't have Uber delivered to the house and then put your hand over the camera and try to hide it. That don't get your trauma squared away. Trust me, I'm a doctor of psychology. I'm master's level trained in mental health counseling, friends. But friends, the lady got resentment towards Mr. Sergeant Major. And then when Mr. Sergeant Major lost his job at the Bay Pines VA so unrighteously, well, then the lady just piled on him and said, "Why did you do that? Now we don't got money for me to buy wine." Well, friend, Sergeant Major begged Jesus to remove his alcohol, and that really got the lady upset, because she couldn't do it on her own, friends. I told you, the whole family struggles with the addiction. Not my righteous uncle on here, because he's one of these family members that prayed to get out of that dysfunction. Men. Oh, friends, I'm reading out of Psalms. Psalms 119, verse 97. Oh, how I love thee, law. It is my meditation all the day. Though thou thy commandments hast made me wiser than mine enemies, for they are ever with me. I have more understanding. I'm sorry, friends. It's Dr. Excalibur again. I'm sorry, friends. I'm not a schizophrenic. I don't have multiple personalities. I'm Dr. Edmund Fitzpatrick Excalibur. I'm a mental health counselor, and I'm a doctor of psychology. I have more understanding than all my teachers. For thy testimonies are my mediations. I understand more than the ancestors, because I keep thy precepts. I have refrained my feet from every evil way. that I might keep thy word. How sweet are thy words unto my taste. Yea, sweeter than honey in my mouth. Oh, I love them honeys. Honey, you know. I'm not doing direct communication, Hillsborough County. I'm not talking about this wicked woman. Though my percepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. I told you, friends, this is the only way. This is the only way to get that dysfunction out of your life. But friends, this lady, this lunatic lady, friends, she had a lot of resentment. Friends, I got it in my notes over here. Let me see, friends. I told you, I'm not supposed to share all this with you. But Sergeant Major is a storyteller. He's trying to tell y'all a story here. Oh yeah, friends, right here in the notes. Because I had to take a lot of notes yesterday. We were doing our counseling in the cemetery. That's where Sergeant Major feels comfortable, because he don't trust none of y'all. Friends, this lunatic of a wife called the sheriff on him like 100 times in the last month, and they would just show up and have to go away. Because Mr. Sergeant Major don't break any laws. He's a law-abiding citizen, even though he's got a couple mug shots. I think Mr. Trump's got one or two too, don't he? He's still the president. Hold on, friends. Oh my gosh, friends, I do gotta go. I got brunch here at 11. You see, friends, this lady had no understanding, because she was never taught understanding, because she came from a dysfunctional home, friends, and it's all true, We don't want to judge nobody. But when you run to the courts and you lie, then we're gonna have to expose you. That's what this little project's all about. You see, friends, that photo right there is Mr. Sergeant Major when he was out protesting the Bay Pines VA for the second time. And he's handing a nice water bottle to a homeless guy that's on a little scooter. Friends, Sergeant Major's the real deal. He will not tolerate no damn evil. And friends, if you harm him or try to harm his family, he's gonna come after you the most peaceful way he knows how. That's why he does social media, friends. Look, friends, that's Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits. He don't like no perverted people. He certainly don't like no damn liars. I'm sorry, friends. I'm sorry, friends. I'm sorry. Friends, I've been watching so many Mr. Sergeant Major's videos on his YouTube. And friends, you must go subscribe. It's the new one. It's the Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits. Friends, if you subscribe, he told me that if he gets 50 subscribers, he can go live over there. And that'd be really therapeutic for a lot of the men that have to go through this evil. Look, friends, Sergeant Major has them all. Hold on, friends. I think I hear a Hillsborough County Sheriff's helicopter lowering around. Oh, friends, we gotta wrap it up. I got my ankle bracelet on, and they know right where I'm at. They don't like the fact that I'm exposing all this, because they want this lady to run back to the courts again and throw me away forever. Mr. Sergeant Major, of course, friends. I'm Dr. Fitzpatrick. I'm a highly trained mental health. I deal with all the PTSD soldiers. I deal with all the combat soldiers. I don't dare deal with no perverted LGBT. Y'all can just go to the VA for that. Because we've abandoned the VA, friends. It's all perverted. But friends, this lunatic of a woman, she never was taught forgiveness. It's so sad, everybody. So friends, when Mr. Sergeant Major started doing his peaceful protesting last year, it got her really upset. Because she had, all the duties fell on her. She had to take the children to school. She had to pick the children up. Of course, with that Arlene Waldron lady, the birthing lady, friends. Where the hell these people come from? But friends, she started building resentment towards Mr. Sergeant Major. And then Mr. Sergeant Major just said, okay, he don't want to be having arguments with you. And friends, Mr. Sergeant Major, this lady did this to Sergeant Major last year like 3 times. But he's such a good Christian man, and he's so forgiving that he forgave this lady. This lunatic lady. Friends, Mr. Sergeant Major forgave this lady because he loved his children. And believe it or not, he loved this lady. He knew she was suffering because Mr. Sergeant Major's highly trained too, everybody. The man's got a master's level in mental health counseling. It's all true. All he had to do was a practicum and an internship, and he could have been... Well, he couldn't have worked at the VA because he's not perverted. He don't really agree with all that LGBT DEI nonsense. Well, he could have opened his own practice. I just had a good idea, everybody. Once we get through our therapy and he gets all the courts behind him and this lady goes to jail for all the lies and perjury and gets the real electric shock therapy at a state mental health institution with her mother, friends, they're all going. That's what I didn't tell you in my notes, friends. In my notes right here, my recommendations to the courts is that the whole family gets to go with her and they're all going to get electric shock therapy. Friends, if it's in Dr. Excalibur's notes, I wasn't going to say it's going to be written in stone because that's blasphemy. But friends, if it's in my notes, friends, hold on now. Friends, I didn't tell you that all the judges at the 13th Judiciary Court, they always, friends, I'm highly respected in the courts. So anytime I make a recommendation, it literally always goes through, friends. Always. But friends, you gotta understand, this lady had no understanding for Sergeant Major. She had no understanding for any of his artwork or any of his advocacy work. And friends, her brother was killed in the war. That's what made it so hard for Sergeant Major. He thought at least she'd get a little empathy out of the lady. But the lady told the Sergeant Major about 2 years ago that she had zero, friends, no empathy at all for him. None. Isn't that horrible? And she said it in front of his birthing lady, too. We were all... Dr. Fitzpatrick, friends, I'm not Sergeant Major. I do not have multiple personalities, friends. But friends, what happened here was this lady got so used to doing everything on her own, and she never could come ask for help. And the Sergeant Major was literally in his office doing all his Sergeant Major duties. And he'd come out and say, "Hey, honey, can I help you?" I'm fine. Well, friends, Sergeant Major is a good soldier, so when you give him permission, he ain't going to come back and start doing the dishes. He's just going to let you do them when you say you got it. So, friends, what happened here was I do got to go, friends. I got brunch. Friends, Mr. Sergeant Major had an opportunity to go protest one last time, and it was the best, friends. It was the peaceful armed protest. How many, friends, I'm looking here. Friends, how many of y'all can put on your resume that you created a character because you went through a little adversity and you did some peaceful protesting, and then a year or two later, you legally, 100% legally, got to go out there with your arms and protest a horrible government? How many of y'all can? Friends, Sergeant Major is the only... Friends, I'm looking through all my cases here. He's the only man. Friends, Sergeant Major's cojones are so big. How many of y'all got cojones the size of this man? I do, because I'm the man that's doing the mental health counseling. My mind got to be just a little bigger than his. And he listens to me, because I have something this lunatic lady never had. It's called empathy. Empathy, friends. So, friends, when Mr. Sergeant Major was helping friends, y'all got to look up who H.K. Edgerton is. That's the man that Sergeant Major went out there and did Sergeant Major wasn't out there protesting because he's a lunatic. His lawsuit was done, so it had nothing to do with that. He went out there for another man that was unrighteously removed out of an event. But see, all the duties fell on the lady, and she just wasn't up to the task. So she got resentful, friends. Very resentful. Very resentful. And friends, the lady broke. She snapped after the day that the uncle that's on here. He was over there, friends. We had really good spiritual talks. But Mr. Uncle, that Thanksgiving broke the lady. All the stress, all the broken dreams, all the dysfunction in that family. It was too much for her to bear. Uncle, do you know Mr. Sergeant Major offered to let the lunatic mother-in-law move in? I got it in my notes right here. The lady told the daughter, the lunatic wife. Well, she was talking about suicide 2 months ago, everybody. It broke my heart. It broke my client's heart, everybody. And so my client, Mr. Sergeant Major, said, "Why don't you just let her move in with us, and then we can all maybe learn to get along. And maybe it'll help her cheer up a little bit being around the children." So, friends, what happened here was this lunatic lady, decided to punish Sergeant Major because he wasn't out there helping with the dishes, and he wasn't out there doing the discipline on the children, but he was, friends. And every time he'd come out there, the lady would run him back in his office, and he remembered what happened to him last year. Friends, this right here happened last year to my client. I got all the notes. I told you I get everything. Look, friends, here's the divorce that the lady begged the man back after she put him through all the ringers. Here's another injunction. That was all light filled, everybody. All the lies. Friends, if these things were real, then Mr. Sergeant Major might have been... Oh, look at this, friends. What's this one here? Act of violence. Friends, this is a bunch of nonsense in here. Look at this. Look at this nonsense. Friends, we call this projection in the mental health community. It's when a lunatic runs to the courts and they're basically tattletaling on themselves, but they don't put their name in there. They put the victim's name. So sad, friends. This was so avoidable. Look at all this nonsense, friends. How the hell is this going to stand up in the court of law, lady? Lady. Yes, I could use an extra cup of coffee, please. Thank you. Friends, I'm at a diner right now. I'm at a diner doing this to y'all. So, friends, the lady lost her mind is what I'm explaining to you. She hit a breaking point. Instead of talking to Sergeant Major, Mr. Sergeant Major, and Mr. Sergeant Major was begging her to talk to him. He's like, honey, please, I know something's going on. Can we just talk? No, get out of here. I'm going to call the sheriff. Get out of here. Get out of here. Friends, this nonsense went on for a week. And then the Sergeant Major, well, he fled. He went in his truck one night and he slept in the cemetery. Friends, the man slept in a cemetery. And then the next night, the neighbor gave him $100 so he can go get a little campsite at Medard Park. And the man slept in his truck for 4 nights out there. And then Mr. Sergeant Major came back home on that Wednesday because the hot water heater was being delivered. Sergeant Major did what any good Christian, godly father husband would do. He installed a new water heater. But that got the sheriff called on him. And the sheriff showed up, everybody. And I got a video of it on the Ring camera. I mean, my client does, everybody. I'm Dr. Fitzpatrick, Excalibur. Friends, did I tell you I specialize in electric shock therapy for lunatic women? Just put those right over yonder. I don't want no more trouble out of you, Sheriff. So, friends, the stress built up, and then the lady went into what her family calls the punishment mode. It's the punishment mode, friends. Friends, I told the lady I was going to get her. Friends, I told you, I'm a highly trained doctor. I'm not Surgeon Gristlecritz. I'm not even the victim. He don't like being called a victim. My client, Mr. Sergeant Major, does not like being called a victim, and I'm trying to help him process that. We're going to process it later on today in the cemetery, everybody. Friends, the first step to healing is to admit that you're the victim. And we're working on that. I mean, the man's highly trained, and he's a combat soldier times 4. The man's been in the war 4 different damn times for 20 years. That's all he knew. He married a Gold Star lady and wedded into a Gold Star family, but they turned their back on him. It's so evil. So evil. So, friends, the lady went into what we call the punishment mode. And that's why the man was trying to get the lady help, and she didn't want no help. And you saw the video, friends. It's a nightmare. So the man, Mr. Sergeant Major, was going to go down to the courts and get her an expert eye to get the real electric shock therapy on her. But friends, the wickedness in her and her family. Well, the lady ran down there first and just did all the evil. Where's that at again, friends? And then, friends, when she found out that Mr. Sergeant Major was getting it out for the 3 times the lady did it to him, and 3 times they just let him go. Oh, good, my ankle bracelet's charging. Well, friends, Mr. Sergeant Major called her up and said, why are you doing this? This is ridiculous. I love you. What are you doing? And she says, I can't talk to you now. And then she ran back to the courts, everybody. And that's when she did the live field injunction domestic with children, the temporary. Friends, we found out last night because I was on the call. The lady drugged the oldest daughter down there, friends. I can't believe this evil. Why in the hell did you drag the daughter down there? So you get a little more empathy out of the tissue lady. Say, oh, look, I'm a battered lady. Look, here's my daughter. We had to flee the home. Oh, the man, give him the firing squad. Friends, I told you it's called the punishment phase. And the lady did it, friends. Friends, we found this out today. The lady did it because I had her locked out of the home, friends. And I was going to force her to go live back with Arlene Waldron until she got her act together. But somehow she found her garage door opener, friends. I don't know. It was probably in her car the whole time. I told you, friends, these people. So, friends, what the lady did was she beat me to it, friends. And she did the live field injunction so she could keep the home and remove me out of the home and not allow me to be around the children. It was all punishment, friends. And then when I texted her, I'm sorry, friends, I'm Dr. Fitzpatrick, Excalibur, the 3rd. Well, friends, my client just simply, friends, the mother-in-law was not in the injunction. It was the lunatic woman, the 3 beautiful children. Friends, she even put Buddy the cat. Buddy the cat. I'm not even allowed to talk to Buddy the cat, and I rescued that damn cat. It's Dr. Excalibur again, friends. Friends, this lunatic woman removed my client out of my children's life and just acted like he just never existed because it's all about punishment. And the lady wanted me to go be homeless and have to go to a homeless shelter or crawl back to the horrible Waldrons and beg for help. But my client would never do that, friends, because he has things called pride. Good pride, like good godly. Like, I'm a godly man. I ain't gonna go crawl to no wicked people and beg for little scrums and earthly treasures. It never happened. That's why I had to write y'all out of my life. Friends, did you know my client, Mr. Sergeant Major, his own mother wouldn't even take a click call from jail? Isn't that horrible? She hung up. It was denied. He called like 4 times, and it was all denied. But that lunatic mother-in-law turned him over to the detective, and that's why the Sergeant Major has an ankle bracelet. He spent 3 days in jail, friends. These people are evil. They're wicked. Don't you dare let them trick you. You can be a Gold Star family and be one of the evilest people in the world. And they are. So, friends, the whole thing was designed to punish and control and use the children. And, friends, this wicked lady's already splitting the children. I told you she drugged my daughter, my oldest daughter. She drugged her down to the courts. So now my daughter, for the remainder of her time on this earth, will have a memory of mommy dragging her down the courts and basically telling daddy's a lunatic. Horrible, friends? Who the hell are y'all? Where the hell did y'all come from? Why'd you do this to my client? He's a good, honorable combat soldier. He got sober, and he begged Jesus to help him, and he did. What the hell's wrong with y'all? Where's y'all's mental health exams? My client's got like 10 of them now, and he's got a drug test that don't got no marijuana in there, people. Not lady. Yeah, another cop, please, thanks. I'm not doing no communication with these demons. So, friends, Jesus bestowed in a dream last night, friends. I told you I'm very spiritual. Dr. Excalibur. Jesus told me exactly what the hell happened here. And my client did nothing wrong. My client's 100% the victim. You see, this lady's a lunatic, and she could have never gotten this far in her life on her own, so she had to grab onto my coattails. That's right, friends. It's Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits now. I know what you did, lady. I know what this lady did. Friends, I gotta be so careful. Friends, if I slip up, I will have more cuffs on me. I know what these people did, everyone. Take these off, friends. Friends, I know what y'all did. I don't sneak and like it one damn bit. Y'all used and abused a good, honorable man because you knew I'd keep forgiving you. And I still forgive you, but you're done. You're done. I'm cutting y'all out of my life. As soon as I get this court injunction tossed out, I'm gonna divorce your butt, lady. And I'm gonna put you through the ringers. Because I got all the evidence that you planned all this out. And this is evil. You're gonna be living with your mom in that little crappy apartment with all the dogs and all the doggy poo-poo, and I'm gonna have 100% custody. 100%. You're gonna go away and get some sobriety help. You're gonna get mental help. If I have anything to do with it, I'm gonna make sure you get a little electric shock therapy. Get all that evil shocked out of you. I can't stand this damn evil. I tried to do a good thing. I created a ministry. I fought the evil in the VA. I feed homeless people. I even washed a homeless man's feet the other day before the lady did all the evil on me. Who the hell are y'all? I ain't gonna let you get my children. My daughter's already starting to behave like y'all. That makes me very, very unrighteous feeling. Look, friends, I need some stinking prayers. These people are demonics, what I'm telling you. Now, friends, there's no other explanation. These people are evil, they're wicked, they're demonic. And they get a lot of pleasure in the fact that I'm in an RV suffering. And I am, friends, because I have separation from my children. Friends, this lady don't have no videos of me slapping her. There ain't no videos of me yelling. Friends, I'm going to release the video here real soon. I got a video of the lady hollering at me, and threatening to call the sheriff, and then putting her hand on my truck and say, you ain't going nowhere. That's domestic violence. Well, friends, it's Dr. Excalibur again. Friends, life's full of choices, and sometimes we make the wrong choices. But we're not supposed to run to the courts and lie. Friends, that's a perjury. That comes to 1 year in jail. At a minimum, you're gonna get a mugshot, and you're gonna get to enjoy that nice cornbread. Oh, the cornbread is so delicious. Friends, my client, Mr. Sergeant Major, has a $50 balance for the county because he had to go to jail. I'm certain that when this lunatic goes and gets her mugshot and has her little time at the Orient Road jail, I'm sure Arlene Waldron will be more than happy to pick up the collect call and bond her out. Friends, what's a perjury charge bond? I mean, the lady don't have any criminal. But I think is it a charge of perjury for every lie? I mean, friends, there's like 10 lies in there. It says that I walk around the home with firearms, that I'm the aggressor, that I'm a lunatic. I'm a heavy user of the marijuana. I told you, friends, I just took a drug test, and there was nothing in it, friends. All I do is drink coffee and water. Friends, we need to pray for these people. These people are fallen. And if I didn't have children with these people, I would have nothing ever to do in a million years with these people. It'd be like my first ex-wife. Sayonara, good luck to you. But friends, I'm stuck with these demons because I got 3 children with them. So we gotta pray that these people find Jesus. Friends, God told me this was gonna happen last year, and that is a true damn story. Friends, God told me I'd be incarcerated, I'd be arrested, I'd lose my guns. Friends, I told you I decided to take that peaceful stand. And when you choose to start following Jesus and walking with Him, friends, these things are gonna happen to you. If you want to be a part of this wicked fallen world, well, friends, you can just be like the Waldrons. You can just get drunk and talk about a bunch of nonsense at the holiday party when I'm trying to have my time with my children. Shame on y'all. Allow hot boiled coals of shame wash all over y'all's perverted Waldron heads. I think maybe y'all could use a little electroshock therapy. I don't know. John Waldron's getting a little old. I told you that guy ain't got long. He ain't got long, friends. I think he's gonna be gone by the end of the next year, friends. Stage 4 liver cancer. Friends, I got no pleasure doing this. But this is my only way of fighting back against this evil. Because if I don't, friends, I'll never see my children again. Because I got a whole family against me. So look, friends, that's going to conclude our little counseling session. I hope y'all learned something. This is Dr. Excalibur again. Friends, you must be kind to people. And you must learn forgiveness. And friends, you must never run down to the 13th Judiciary Court and lie. It might feel good for a little while. And you're going to get a little pleasure. But friends, you don't have to go far to find out where that road's going to lead you. It's going to lead you to a disgusting dumpster in Brandon, Florida, friends, where Jessica Marchalewski likes to crawl out in the morning. Friends, I think she's crawling out right about now. Friends, that lady, why I rag on that lady is that lady was my wife's best friend. I'm certain they're hanging out again. Friends, Jessica Marchalewski taught my wife how to do all this stuff. Because she was married to my best friend. And we were in the war. We were in the war together, friends. My best friend was driving the Humvee when I shot and killed all those people in the war. He watched me do it, friends, and it didn't sit good with the man. He had a lot of trauma from what I did. But it was a war, friends, and they violated the rules of engagement. And I did what any good combat soldier would do. I took out the threat, friends. But I'm a peaceful man now. I'm just really highly trained. Again, friends, we must learn forgiveness. But the Lord Jesus told me my task was forgiveness. I have to teach these people. And friends, these people are going to unfortunately learn the hard way. I mean, this lady's going to lose she's going to lose her nursing license, Uncle. She worked real hard for that nursing license. And friends, I was there with her the whole time. When she was the orderly, just cleaning up all the bed poo-poo and pee-pee. That's when I met the lady. And then I supported her when she was working towards her bachelor's degree. Friends, she wanted to get her master's. She really did. And we were trying to find a way to do that earlier in the year. But it's hard with 3 children and only 1 income. But friends, I told you I got a lawsuit pending. And it's going to be $300,000, not 1 damn cent less. But friends, there's the sad part. Here's the saddest part. Friends, when I'm done with court, if this lady hasn't already got the divorce started, and friends, I just know she's already met with the lawyers. But friends, she learned last time that if she does the divorce before this little injunction, friends, you gotta understand, the whole thing is to punish me, to keep me from the children, because she didn't like the fact that I wouldn't like my girly man brothers. So friends, I don't believe she started the divorce yet. But friends, when I go there on the 8th, and if the Judge Peroni tosses it out, I'm going right down to the 2nd floor to the tissue lady, and I'm gonna start my no contest divorce with this demon. Isn't that sad, friends? So sad. But it's called life, friends, and life's full of decisions. And sometimes we make the wrong ones. So, friends, when I start my divorce on January the 8th, or if the judge wants to have the lady come in just to explain all the evil, then I'll wait till the 14th. But January the 14th, friends, that's the day that this lady will no longer be able to punish me. And you ain't gonna see 1 damn cent. Oh, you, lady, you over there, please, another cup of coffee, thank you. Friends, this lady ain't gonna be able to enjoy all the fruits of my labor. That's what I'm explaining to you. And I don't want to take the house from her. That's the house I built for my children. But friends, there's going to be lots of conditions on that. It's my VA home loan. That lady don't own that home. Friends, I don't even think the lady's on the new loan that we got. That lady ain't on it. It's all me, everybody. And she knows that. So friends, this lady's going to go get some help. She's going to get a mugshot. And friends, it's so sad. She ain't going to be a nurse ever again. So friends, maybe I'll move back into my home with my 3 children. Because I'm going to have 100% custody while the lady's living in some sober living like her 2 sisters. Oh, they're still in the sober living facility. Okay, they are, friends. I told you, we got a lot of empathy for these people. But the substance abuse runs rampant in that family, everyone. Just like it did in mine. And still does. All right, friends, I gotta go. It's been a pleasure having this little chat with you. So, friends, y'all come back some other time, and we'll do another counseling session. Again, friends, my name is Edmund Fitzpatrick Excalibur III. And I'm a highly trained mental health professional. And friends, I do got another session with Mr. Sergeant Major in the cemetery later today. So we'll see you there. Y'all stay groovy now. And don't let me catch you lying on a good honorable combat soldier. A good honorable, sober, godly man. Don't you dare let me catch you doing that. Ain't gonna work out good for you. Because I'm gonna have a grizzly soldier come scoop you up. And I'm gonna do a little electric shock therapy until I get all that evil out of you. Until I feel satisfied. Just put that right over yonder. All right, friends, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Hope you're doing well, Uncle Danny. I know you understand what I'm doing. I love you. And we'll get together once this nightmare's... We'll get together when we're allowed to. I'll see y'all soon. Grizzle 6.